Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Rhythm and Word. I'm Amy Pagliarella, Parish Associate here at Fourth Presbyterian Church, and I am thrilled to join you to discuss prophetic wisdom for an age of outrage. That's a catchy phrase, isn't it? Prophetic wisdom for an age of outrage. The wording comes from Father Richard Rohr, and his book, The Tears of Things, is the inspiration for this 2-week series. Now, Rohr's book is way too rich and complex for us to fully cover in 2 weeks, but we are going to dip a toe into the world of the biblical prophets, and we'll ask ourselves, what might their revelations have to teach us today? There have always been people who spoke prophetically, people who tell it like it is, those who speak truth to power, and who understand and communicate God's desires for the people, whether the people like it or not. Prophets sometimes get a bad rap. When my kids were little, they would ask me to open our story Bible and read that story about the silly man who ate bugs. Now, John the Baptist is known for many things besides the fact he ate locusts and wild honey, but his unusual diet is a reminder that prophets like John often lived on the margins of society. They didn't always conform to its conventions. They were, in the words of Richard Rohr, on the edge of the inside. And today we'll hear from one of these earlier prophets, Amos. Amos was a humble agricultural worker. He lived in a time of great prosperity, about 750 years before Jesus. Society around him was flourishing. But as Amos watched the rich get richer, he realized they were taking bribes. They were cheating the poor and vulnerable out of their grain. And then on Sundays, they would attend elaborate worship services and make token sacrifices. Amos was furious. He channeled his fury into witnessing to God's vision for society, as we'll hear next. And so in our reading, Amos speaks in the first person, as though he is talking for God. So let's listen to these powerful words from Amos, chapter 5, starting with verse 21. I despise your festivals, and I take no delight in your solemn assemblies. Even though you offer me your burnt offerings and grain offerings, I will not accept them, and the offerings of well-being of your fatted animals, I will not look upon. Take away from me the noise of your songs. I will not listen to the melody of your harps. But let justice roll down like water, and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. So after Amos has unleashed his rage, he offers this beautiful word of hope. Let justice roll down like water, and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. Here's the thing about flowing water. It doesn't pick or choose, privileging only a few. It nourishes and hydrates everything in its path. So when justice rolls and righteousness flows, we all benefit. Modern social justice movements often start to protect the most vulnerable, but then they extend to everyone. And the consequence is we all live in a more just world. So take, for example, the rest movement. You heard me right, the rest movement, as in sleep, or more specifically, naps. This movement's leader, Tricia Hersey, calls herself the Nap Bishop. It sounds kind of cute, but she is deeply serious about naps. She believes in the liberating power of rest, and that sleep deprivation is a racial and social justice issue. Her first book, Rest is Resistance, was a manifesto against the grind culture in which we use our bodies in the service of capitalism, depriving them of sleep and rest. Tricia Hersey isn't working alone. There are other leaders like Dr. Shaniqua Walker-Barnes, a clinical psychologist who privileges self-care, including rest, prayer, and meditation as essential for everyone, especially the most vulnerable, people who perform physical labor for low wages. Now, it's no accident that the leaders in this movement are all Black women. They watched their mothers and grandmothers hold multiple jobs while raising families. They push back against the trope of the strong Black woman, a stereotype that rewards women who grin and bear it in the face of very real suffering. And they call out our country's grind culture that praises us for overwork with its disdainful refrain, "Sleep is for the weak." It's also no accident that these are women of faith, Christians who studied the rich prophetic tradition as they pursued their Master of Divinities. They're also scholars, and their research helps others understand the ways grind culture undermines our physical and mental health. By bringing together faith, scholarship, and their lived experiences as Black women, they've created a whole new justice movement. But remember what I said about when justice rolls and righteousness flows, it impacts everyone in its path? Well, that's exactly what happens here. The rest movement is for everyone. These prophetic voices start with the most vulnerable and extend to the rest of us. We all do better when we are well rested, hydrated, relaxed in our bodies. Rest leads to improved mental health and well-being. Well-rested parents allow for more relaxed children, and well-rested bosses contribute to healthy workplaces. Rest is a human right, period. Hard stop. And so I'm grateful to these contemporary prophets who continue in this tradition. They show us what it looks like for justice to roll and righteousness to flow. Will you please pray with me? Holy God, thank you for the prophetic voices in our midst that remind us you are a God of liberation, a God of justice, and a God of righteousness. Help us to live in your way and open ourselves to those who show us how to follow in your way. Amen. Friends, thank you for taking this opportunity to pause with us on Rhythm and Word. And I hope you'll return for the second and final week as we discuss Richard Rohr's The Tears of Things. But for now, every blessing to you as you enter into this fall season.